Let's get back to the UVU Wolverine Coaches Show on Utah County Sports Station, ESPN 960.
All right, welcome back to Ken Garff Volkswagen in Orem, off University Parkway across from Chili's. Brandon Crow alongside head coach Mark Madsen here with you on the UVU Coaches Show. And, Coach, I know we teased at the end of last segment. Last year we surprised you with a guest.
Yeah.
I'll try and see if you can pick up this one up from the clues. Our special guest is ready here for us. Our next guest is an old friend of yours. He played in the NBA for 16 seasons, helped bring 3 different franchises championships, brought my family to tears of joy as a Laker, the man with one of the strongest and longest greatest hits tours the NBA has ever seen. Please welcome to the show, 7-time world champion and pride of Alabama, Robert Big Shot Bob Horry.
Rob, what's up?
What's up, Mad Dog? What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Apparently you're doing really good. You got a successful team going up there, and I'm proud of you, man. I remember the days when you used to look up to me for advice.
No, all the time, Rob. You were the guy, man. You taught me everything. Hey, it's funny. I pulled 2 of our players 3 days ago, and I told them the story that you told me early in my career. I said, guys, I was going in there to try to block shots, and I got dunked on a few times. So finally Robert Horry pulled me aside and said, hey, man, why don't you jump straight up in the air and then jump backwards and try to mistime the other guy's jump? And we actually did it in the game, Rob, straight from you.
See? Hey, I'm not that dumb. I got a little smart to me, man.
Hey, how's everything with you? How's everything with you in L.A.?
Man, life is good, other than this COVID keeping you in the house. But, I'm doing Laker television, having a good time doing that, doing little stuff on ESPN to jump, doing a podcast. So, man, I'm keeping myself busy since you didn't want to hire me as a coach, man. I had to go to work.
Problem is, you do better than all the players in our program, Rob, No, that's great. It was funny, Rob. I talked to the guys. I share a lot of the things that you taught me, including don't go up and try to dunk with 2 hands all the time. Go up with 1 hand so you can hit the other guy in the neck. You remember when you told me that?
Hey, you have to go up and protect yourself, man. Hey, it's easier to block it with 2 hands than 1. You can move it on it with the 1 hand, man,
Exactly.
Coach, thank you, Robert, for taking the time to be with us. This is Brandon. Coach, when was the last time you guys spoke?
Probably about a year ago in L.A., but probably about a year, 18 months ago, after a game.
It was a while,
Yeah.
It was after I think it was after Kobe's last game, wasn't it?
Yeah. No.
I think that's the last time.
No, because you were around after that. We'd see each other at Staples a lot.
Yeah, okay. I remember the funniest moment I saw you is where I was sitting in the car and you were walking to get lunch. And I blew my horn when you walked in front of my car, and I think you almost unpeed your pants. But that was the funny part, Hey, you should have seen Mark's face. He was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Thought he was about to get run over." Or something. But, Mark. The thing I always loved about Mark, man, he was one of those guys that was thirsting for knowledge and always asking questions, not afraid to ask questions, hard worker, and man, it's paid off for you, man. I'm proud of you. I'm one of the guys that's always been on your side, man, because I knew what it took to get where you were at and the knowledge you had. So, but hopefully, man, you can keep winning in your second season and have a long career there. So,
appreciate it, Rob. Hey, how's Alabama going to do this year? How's Alabama going to do?
It's so weird to watch them because they've been doing so well. I've come to know Coach Oates pretty well, and we talk on a regular basis. And he just got those guys playing the NBA style of game and shooting threes, having fun, but also putting the focus on defense. And that's the thing is you can get guys to buy in defense. You allow them to give them a little freedom on the offensive end. They play harder for you. And I think that's what he's instilled in those guys, and they look good. I'm very impressed. So. Hopefully they can, do some damage in this NCAA tournament. So we'll see.
They've been great. They could use a young Robert Horry out there right now.
It's funny you say that. They just put a big article in the Tuscaloosa News, like, what would Coach Oates do if he had a player like Robert Horry? Because we all know that Wimp Sanderson held him back. So,
Robert, now if I did my homework correctly, did Coach Madsen have his locker next to yours?
Yeah. Mark was a two. Yeah. He was one over from me.
Yep.
Did he ever try and swipe any of your shoes or anything like that?
No, Mark's foot's a little bit bigger than mine. What you wear, 17, right, Mark?
Yeah, 17 or 18.
Yeah, and I'm only a 15, so Mark couldn't swipe anything. Mark. And first of all, Mark wouldn't swipe $1 million and you sat it right in your locker and he walked past it. You probably sit in front of him and protect it for you. Said, "No, you left this out." Mark would never swipe anything.
Robert, what was your first? When did you first meet Mark Madsen?
When he was a rookie, he came to the team and he was just, he was practicing hard every day. He was, here's the thing about Mark. Mark had it in his mind, I think. I don't know. I never talked to Mark about this, that he was going to be the starter over Shaq. So he would come to practice every day, work hard, do everything he did to try to, get in position. Then he was like, "Oh, I ain't going to beat out Shaq. Well, maybe I can take Rob's position." "No, dog, you ain't going to take my position either unless you know how to shoot a three." And so, but, he was, like I said, he was just a great guy to work with. He came to work hard every day. And, he was the brunt of a lot of people's jokes, and except mine. I always kept him on my side because you always need a guy who can set a hard pick, can knock you on your butt, and then and look at you like, "What'd I do?" So, I love playing with Mark.
It's funny, Rob. I'm thinking back to after one of the championships. You win a championship, you get ready to go to the parade, and none of us really knew what to do. There's a lot of us had been going to the parade for the first time. Robert had already done this twice in Houston, and so Rob came in. He had a framed picture of the team with like an unbelievable border, and every year he had everybody sign the borders, and I'm like, man, that's so smart. If we win it again, I need to do that. So then we won it again, and I'm sure some of the other players were thinking the same thing. None of us did it. Robert came in. He had the framed picture with 3 or 4. He got everybody signed, and nobody wanted to ask, especially no one really wanted to ask Kobe for an autograph, just because Kobe had so much going on. But Rob got it every year, and just. But the thing about Rob is, you talk about a great leader, somebody that could really get after Shaq if he had to get after Shaq. Rob, if he had to get after Kobe, he would get after Kobe. And there were very few guys in the locker room that really had the kind of the credibility to do that. But Rob did. And I'm incredibly grateful to have played with Rob. And like I told you earlier, Brandon, I share a lot of Rob's knowledge with our players now here at Utah Valley.
So Robert, he just mentioned something, might have been a little tease at you, Coach. No invitation for him to come up here to Orem to join you on the staff. But Robert, I know with COVID going on, but when are we going to get you up here to Orem?
Hey, man, I haven't been on a plane since All-Star going to so unless you send a driver for me, no time soon until COVID is over, until I get the vaccine and stuff going on, man. But you know what? It's weird though. I'm gonna have to sacrifice though, because I did something that I'm gonna be so proud, more proud than my 7 championships. I went back to school. So during COVID has brought one thing out of me. It made me go back to school and finish my degree, because when I left Alabama, I only had 6 classes left before I graduated, and so. Due to the fact that I was playing in the NBA, making money, I figured I didn't need a degree. So, but now I'm like, man, I want a degree in case I want to coach in college. And, I said, because that's one of my goals I wanted to do before the NBA. And I said, well, let me get my degree so I can coach in college and, move from there. So when I get my degree, Mark, I might be calling you and say, hey, put me on that staff so we'll see what happens.
Hey, hit me up, man. Hey, by the way, Rob, congratulations,
That's awesome.
Man. That's huge. That's
cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, Coach, you've taken a lot of advice from Robert. Now, here he is. He just said he has coaching aspirations. What have you been able to learn in your coaching time that you can pass on to him?
First of all, there's not much anybody can really teach Robert Horry. I just trust me on that. but it has been interesting to try to blend the most of us that played at a high level, we're not really analytics guys, because we trust more what we see. We trust more what we know. And Robert and I haven't really spoken about that, but so I'm curious, Rob, what your take is. But it's been interesting trying to incorporate more analytics into the coaching. You know, I'm always going to trust my eyes. I'm always going to trust watching the film. But sometimes you might see some stats that will help you make a decision coverage-wise or you know, help you devise a scheme to try to stop a team. Rob, what are your thoughts on analytics? I'm curious. We've never talked about it.
You know, I'm not a big believer in analytics because you can't judge a person's heart and a person's desire. Because there are moments where you say, oh, this guy goes left and he scores, you know, 60% of the time, but he doesn't have a Mark Madsen. He doesn't have a Robert Horry. He doesn't have a Shaquille. It depends on who's guarding you, because the guy that's guarding you now might be by far better than the other people who made your percentages look so good. So I don't trust analytics, because you can never, you know, trust what a guy's, how he's. There's too many things that come in. Human nature is the biggest thing you cannot measure. You know, because if you're having a bad day, you can bring that on the court. You're having a great day, you can bring it on the court. There's so many things that can come in to you know, throw analytics out of the group. And I think what happened with analytics, a lot of people look at analytics and say, okay, if you shoot this many threes, you're going to do this, and they apply that to the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors was a different animal with different beasts. So you sit back and look at the history of, I don't know how it works in college, but NBA, and you say analytically what team has won doing that? Just one, Golden State Warriors. Everybody else has tried it, and nobody else has won it like that. If you go back when Toronto won it, they lucked up because Golden State had a rash of injuries, and so they kind of had an easy path because Kawhi Leonard was the MVP, and he did more of his scoring inside the three than he did outside the three. So I'm not big on analytics. I know everybody tries to say, well, 3 is more than 2. Yes, that is true. But if you don't have someone that can shoot the 3, it is not more than someone who can shoot the 2.
No, that's true. It's funny. We were talking about that today as a staff, Rob, and you know, this Friday we're playing Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon and us are kind of trying to both win the conference championship in the regular season, and both Grand Canyon and us, we start 2 bigs. They start 2 7-footers. We start 2 6'11" guys, and it's, you know, it's different than you know, the NBA. Everyone's going small ball, and here we are. Both teams have 2 bigs, so it is interesting. You know, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, so true. I just believe you have to coach what you have on your team. You just can't make everybody shoot threes, because you watch the NBA now. You got guys shooting threes that they shouldn't be shooting threes. You know, and they're happy if they 2 for 10. Oh, I made 2 out of 10. To me, that sucks. You know, I need 500. If you're gonna shoot 10 threes, you better make 6 of them. And so, and I'm just not big on, you know, if you're a shooter, you know, you got some guys who allow that, like Steph Curry last night. I think he was 1 for 7 from 3. You know, you're fine because you have a history of doing that. But don't let somebody who's been in the league 2 or 3 years and all of a sudden decide to shoot threes. No, I make 2 out of 10. No, that's not going to fly with me. So, you know, it makes a big difference, man, on who you guys shooting the shots. If you got someone who can shoot it, take the shot. Let it fly.
Well, Robert, again, we cannot thank you enough. I grew up in Los Angeles, and so I grew up rooting for you. You brought my family to tears of joy. I had your poster on my room and my wall, and
thank you.
Different circumstances led me here to be in Orem and cross paths with Coach Mark Madsen, and it's just it's a pleasure for me to be here to hear this interview. And so thank you again for taking the time to be with us today.
Man, anything for Mark. Mark is a great individual, a great human being, and turned out to be an even better coach. So I'm proud of you, Mark. And you better send me some gear so I can support you, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That sounds good. Hey, Rob, great to catch up with you, man. All the best, and we'll be in touch.
All right, good.
Again, thank you, Robert Horry. Fantastic interview. And thank you, Coach. We know you got to get back to practice. But we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Dan Nielsen from the women's basketball team on the UVU Coaches Show right after this.